Good morning, New Zealand. I think it's about 8 a.m. Just done a few chores and wanting to take a moment to talk about taking responsibility. Last week was a full-on week trying to get my internet back into play, an enforced digital detox really, and I've now got another potential week of that while I wait for a new modem to come in. One of the things that it helps you to do though is really compartmentalize when you can work with data, because I don't have a phone either or mobile without my broadband, which has an extender to it. But I was sitting and reflecting in my journal on yesterday morning, and started to kind of see what the blessing was inside of this. I didn't see the blessing at the start, let me tell you. One of the key things though that kept me driving on Friday afternoon, I was on the phone for an hour and a half, and in the morning as well was on the phone to a different area, until I actually got someone to take responsibility. So a manager came on and she was fantastic, and she took responsibility for what was happening. She really listened to what was going on. Both people that I'd talked to there hadn't really. They were just giving me the stock standard machine answer. I could have been talking to a machine, and she really listened to what had gone on, and she brought some humanness into it. So she sympathized with me, and it wasn't just there. So she got on and she actually sorted out getting a technician out, and she followed up, and then she was just really kind about it. Like, so you felt like you were talking to someone who could be a friend, because she was a little bit fun in how she talked to you, and brought some happiness into the situation. Even though she'd sorted out the problem, she also just brought this wonderful happiness and empathy into the situation. So even though I'm still not sorted out, I would still be really thankful that she took responsibility. So I talked to the service provider in the afternoon, like I said, for an hour and a half. Same thing, the person wasn't listening to what I was trying to explain to them, and so they were coming back with all the answers of what had gone on that week, which I already knew about, and had already solved that situation. And then to also find out that there was an auto-generated computer thing saying that they'd sent me a new modem. So it wasn't actually true, and I was waiting for nothing. Hence this next week. But really the responsibility thing is I just kept being on the phone. So I knew that it was important to try and keep talking to that same person and try and get them to really understand what I was asking for. And there was a real tenacity in that. So there's something that I know from the past, and certainly dealing with a larger corporation and trying to get customer service, trying to get something done that you want done, even though you're supposed to be getting customer service, and they're all trying really hard. But the issue here is around listening, but it's also about responsibility. And I could have got off that phone and just walked away, and nothing would have changed. And then I thought about this, and I thought, there's a real lesson here, because I had to stand in a particular place in my house so that I didn't, not even outside my house, so that I didn't actually lose reception, because I knew if I'd lost reception on connection, then I would have to start again with another person. And I think there's a whole lot of metaphors in this and similes around the fact that when you're trying to build your business or you're in sales, and there's a few things there. One is, and we all know, is you've got to stay connected. And then what I realized though is you've got to stay connected with the right people. So it's about finding that person, and especially in the work that I do, who wants to take self-responsibility for the changes, and they're really engaged in the process to find a solution, and take that on board. And I know when I work with clients who are in that way, things happen really fast, a little like the person that looked after me and took responsibility. So change and transformation and healing as well can be very, very quick and very instant. And that's what I love about utilizing theta healing and the different modalities that I do to be able to engage with someone and actually help them change really, really fast. So the key, though, in the responsibility piece is about your own awareness of how responsible you need to be. And I thought of Ben Zander, and his How Fascinating, and creating a possibility to live into. And I really thought about, okay, so if my vision and for me personally is to take responsibility, and I could think, yep, I can take responsibility, yep. But that's really a possibility to live into, because the reality of it is it's so huge, that taking responsibility. Sometimes I feel like I can take responsibility in certain parts of my life and not take responsibility in other parts at the same time. It's like you focus on this one area, like even the internet, and the other areas can fall over. So I love how he says, as a possibility to live into, because when it's a possibility to live into, I can make mistakes, because can I really do taking responsibility, self-responsibility every single day? Yeah, I can. Yep, I can. And am I likely to also be challenged by that and to make mistakes or fall over? And so I can kind of go, how fascinating, and that's really what this reflection is about, is how fascinating that I can be in this situation and only be able to do this one thing, and sometimes that's really it. Sometimes there's only that much time to take responsibility for that particular thing that's going on, and until it's sorted, then it's almost like once that's sorted, then I can do the other thing. But I did notice throughout it, like, here I was thinking I was going to get this internet back on soon, Thursday or Friday, and so I'd put off a few things. And I put them to one side, and I'd thought, okay, I'll do those later when the internet comes on, it'll be easier. And then it looked like it might not have been, and on Thursday I had a hair appointment in the mid-afternoon, and I thought, no, take your computer and see if you can find some Wi-Fi and get a few things out that need to be attended to in that time while you're there. So make use of that time, and really be quite pointed on what you need to achieve, who you need to communicate to, and who you need to respond to. That when it's easy, I can kind of do it on my phone, and that's why I'm taking a video right now, because I can't upload a blog, which is probably what I would do, so I'm now vlogging. And so easy, isn't it? You don't have to write everything down. You just can talk about it on here for coming near 10 minutes. So the key here is a couple of things, certainly from a sales piece. When you're wanting to build your business, take responsibility, certainly from a customer services point of view, take responsibility for your own growth around your ability to listen, because we think we're listening, but actually there's a whole other level of listening that that we could be seeing a whole different picture. And, you know, I certainly see that with the horses as well. I mean, I've got a little boy down here who's all in the arena because he's stripped his back legs and a little bit. Potentially put it into a fence. I'm walking around here to see if I can find where it actually and why it actually happened, because we've done a few goes at this, and amongst the other things, and the girls are up there enjoying a different paddock that's safe. But, you know, and that responsibility around, you know, listening, you know, he's young, and they do silly things. I was worried about them with the thunder and lightning last weekend, and they seem to have come out okay, but yeah, and then realizing, you know, just how young, when a young horse does silly things. They can't see as much as an older horse can, and it's a little like children as well. They can't see the things, you know, which is, my son's gone and walked around the fences to try and see if he can work it out, but he can't actually see maybe as much as I can see. So there's that experience that comes, that we can share, and we can try and help them to see more, and to listen more, to hear more, to see more, to feel more. And actually it's about us developing that. You know, I look at how I work with people on emotional intelligence and managing those, our different brains and our consciousness, around, you know, staying in that thinking brain, that human brain, but also how easily we can be shut down even in that brain, to what's going on for other people or even for ourselves, and really being able to listen. So the key is actually staying curious. You know, I say to my participants and clients and things, you know, that it's about staying curious. Really stay curious to what you are looking at, and that curiosity, or what you're hearing and how you're hearing that, and really take it in. Because I don't think I would have seen quite what I saw when I wrote and reflected in my journal the other morning. And I may not have been writing in my journal because I probably would be normally flicking through Facebook, finding out what's going on, and you know, and how easy it is to be in that space. But because it wasn't an easy space to be in, I couldn't sit in my bed and have a cup of tea and flick through that. I had to really make some very, very conscious choices. And I think, you know, certainly on to a detox, and we've got a spring clean and cleansing, and lots of people are talking about that at the moment. And can certainly see that it's not just about quitting entirely, but it is about putting some boundaries around some things, you know, be it eating, be it drinking, be it your consumption of utilizing digital, be it, you know, social stuff. What is it that you need to put a boundary around, and put into place into particular areas where you can really look for and find some great actions and some goals. So the key there is I had an unbelievable knowledge and sense of, if I just keep going, if I just keep talking to these different people, I will get an outcome and I will achieve what I want to achieve, which was internet. And it's the same with other goals that you want, you know, just keep going. keep going, even though it's frustrating. And I was getting very, very angry and annoyed, and and I think some of that other stuff can easily spill over onto the people around you as well when you're frustrated with something. That all the other frustrations become more frustrations. So a big post, really. It's 15 minutes. This is a big post with lots and lots of my reflections around, activity, around tenacity, around keeping going, around setting goals and setting visions and possibilities to live into, and know with all your heart, have total and utter belief that that you can make those things happen, and just really stick with that, because if you waver on that belief, then you don't make it happen. It doesn't work, And it may not be that the way you're going is the way, to get what you need. And sometimes you have to check out a different way. Like with the modem, I also got off the phone, and yes, I'd ordered this modem through my service provider, and and then I thought, well, I could go and buy one now instantly, couldn't I? I could go down the road to Noel Lemming or something like that, and I looked online, or I could order it online, and it'd probably come faster than 5 to 6 working days. And, so I had to look at that option, because was it an option, and was I going to be able to cope with, and was it that important? Was it that important that I had to go down the road and, potentially pay more for it, as well, was what I noticed when I did have a look. I had to pay more. And you think about that even with your health. We when things are wrong, we want to be better quickly, and so we pay more to get better faster when there could have just been some things that could have done for that long-term goal, and may not have actually got sick. Anyhow, there's my post for today, Sunday, the 15th of September, 2019, and I've got lots of mozzies around me right now, who all have a little purpose in their life, and right now bugging me. So go and work out what's going to bug you, and what you can believe in, and keep going.